Wolfgang, be quiet. There's been complaints. So what we have here is a 1968 Fender Bassman, as used by Mike Ness out of Social Distortion. Unfortunately, it's got great tone, but it's very, very loud, particularly if I turn off this so that it's playing straight through.
Those things have to be on 10 to sound good.
And the whole house shape. So we use a hot plate which converts much of the sound into heat so that you can play it in a civilised fashion in your house, but the power's there should you ever require it. Good afternoon, Codger Biker here, and I'd like to talk to you about tone. Okay, I love the sound of my Wings exhaust, and I do think the Wings exhaust is the best looking of all the aftermarket exhausts. It'd be nice if KTM offered them as standard, to be honest, because you have to buy one with a horrible, great, ugly thing that they provide the bike with. But I have had complaints from a neighbour that it's keeping them awake in the daytime. I won't mention who it is. Anyway, also when I first got this exhaust and started the bike up, I was surprised by how loud it is, because I did have the quieter of the DB killers in it and it was still very loud. As supplied originally, you can see that it came with two DB killers. I inserted the smaller one, presuming that was the quieter one, and you can see that it's had some use. There's the other one which I didn't use. So I emailed Gorazd and said to him that it was a little bit loud for me, some months back actually, before anyone even mentioned it. I don't like frightening horses or anything. I don't frighten the horses. All right, horses, don't frighten you. Nice horses. And what I remember, there's a channel that I've been following that I really must recommend, and you should go and watch after you've seen this. I'll put a link at the end. Ridey Bikes Moto. There's a guy there, like me, without access to a garage at the moment. In my case, because she must be obeyed, filled it full of plant pots. And he's completely rebuilding his 690. So if you love 690s, go and watch Ridey Bike Moto's channel, which, as I say, will be linked at the end. And particularly, he has some interesting things to say about exhaust and riding off-road. And I agree with him that you don't want it too noisy in the countryside. You don't want to scare horses. And he also made a point about not having a carbon fibre part on the endcan, because it can break if the bike goes over. On that I'll disagree, because I like it. I don't normally like carbon fibre, but I just think it sets off the Wings exhaust. Anyway, he's done some quite drastic work on 3 different end cans, well worth looking at, and he's rebuilding his bike completely. Go and watch it, it's brilliant. Anyway, back to this. So I spoke to Gorazd and I said, you know, is there any chance you could offer a different DB killer for people who like it a little bit quieter? I was surprised it didn't have the spark arrestor like the 790 exhaust had, and at the time it was the middle of the it was right in the middle of the first coronavirus, so he said he'd get back to it when he had time, and contacted him again recently, and sure enough, he's done what he said. He's offered a spark arrestor DB killer and a silencing cone to fit inside, so these two together should reduce the volume of this end can to the same as the stock. So it's going to make it quieter. Hopefully will quieten down the neighbours. Let's see how we fit it. There's a difference for comparison. So we put those two away. Right, so the idea is that this DB killer will fit in the end and fasten as per normal, but at the other end in here should fit the cone, which there's a ridge there, so it should rest on that ridge and then the pipe should hold it in place. Now I was a bit concerned, how do I take, if I want to get back my tone and take it out, and Gorazd says if you, once you've fitted it, if you pass a stick through here you can push it out again. I'll show you the instructions he sent me. So he's obviously thought it out. And I'm very pleased. I hope it wasn't just for me though. So I hope some other people might be interested. There you go, I'll just push that in there now. Using my T-bar that I use to undo the rear mudguard. So just gently push it in. It only goes so far. Presumably when you put the rest of the exhaust in, that will hold that in position. So the idea is it reflects the sound back and also deadens it a little bit. And the hard bit I always find on this one is getting that Allen bolt in, because firstly you've got to get it lined up, which is relatively easy because you can use an Allen key. Okay, so I've got the hole in the right place. Now I've got to fit that bolt on. And I remember last time it was an absolute nuisance, so the way I did it was to tape this to the head of that so as it couldn't come off. As you can see that I've just taped the bolt onto the Allen driver. Oh yeah, we've done it. Okay, and pull out, pull your tape out, peel off your tape. Finish it off. Okay, so we now have the longer DB killer with the spark arrestor. We have the sound filter at that end. So between them, hopefully, they'll do the equivalent of my hot plate on my amplifier. And the good news is it's reversible. It's not permanent. I can knock that out easily enough with a piece of wood, take that out, put either none in or one of the other two. I don't know if that will show on the camera, but the endcan slides down over the link pipe, so the funnel is actually inside there, so it can't slide that way because the pipe is narrower, and it can't go that way because of the lip inside, so it should sit there nicely. Once I've got it on fully, we tighten the bracket, and the job should be perfect, we hope.